Hi, I'm Jericho, the Talentless Creative. Today I'd like to try doing two kinds of textured paper. Now I know I said that I wasn't going to make another textured video, or at least the process. I was just going to show you the results, but I'm filming this because this is going to be something new for me too. The process is going to be the same, but the material is going to be different. I'm not going to use kitchen towel or facial tissue or even wet wipe. Today, I'm going to use two items I found at home. The first one is tea bags. These are actually tea bags, which I've removed the tea leaves. These are tea bags that I saved. So I have Earl Grey tea and green tea. I may have to mix all of these together later on. So I think what I'm going to do is that same thing. I'm going to use the glue all over, glue and water, and then I'm just going to paste this on top along with white glue and water. So another item I'm going to use is sterile cotton gauze swab. I didn't know that they can actually expire until I check the date just now. The expiration is in 2023, which comes as a surprise to me, but yeah, I didn't know about that. So I'm gonna use this, the same thing I'd use a kitchen towel or a facial tissue. I am planning to bond it on top, same thing, covering the paper. I don't think I can write on this side, but this would make a very interesting texture. But I can write on the other side. There you go, like that. I think I can open more. I can, look at that. It's actually bigger. Okay. This is the first for me too, guys. I am trying this now. That's why I'm filming it. Let me see, this one like that. This one I can save it. Let's see. So there's one, and then this is so light. Okay, look at that. I think it's gonna be fine, right? Should I add another layer on top? But I'm afraid it would be a bit too thick, and I don't really want that. I'm just gonna crumple this and put it aside. I'm gonna save this for other papers that I'm gonna do off camera. I'm not gonna film for that. Oh, and same thing what I did in my last video. I printed some Canva Pro element on this paper because at the back is just a white space. But this time I didn't add the lines for me to write, because even without the lines I can still write on it. Can still be a journaling space. And I'm really interested to see if it's going to be the same as before, if the color, the printed colors will seep through to the front once it's dried, once I mix it with this and then I dry it. That's what happened with the other textured papers. This one, instead of, I wanted to do the same actually, but then I changed it to green watercolor. I really hope the effect is going to be the same as what I did in the last video, where the color actually seeps through, because that's going to be very cool. Okay, I don't want to prolong this video, and I hate editing for too long. The last video took me a really long time to edit because I'm new at this, so I fumble a lot. There's a lot of hum and ums and just stutters. I couldn't speak properly. Even in this one, I just said I'll make sure that you won't have to go through the pain of listening to me talking like that. Really hope I'll get used to this eventually without feeling too self-conscious. That way I have less clips to edit. Okay, so I'm going to do the tea bags first, but as usual, I'm going to use this first. I'm going to brush this mixture on the paper. Oh man, I think I just heard my neighbor sneeze really loud. It's the weekend today, so everyone's at home. So if you hear some noise, it's most likely my neighbors. Alright, let's flip this. Now's the exciting part, is adding these tea bags. I think I'm going to try using the Earl Grey tea bag first. I don't know much about tea. It seems like, unlike English breakfast tea, Earl Grey tea is redder. Instead of dark brown, it's redder, but then again, I'm not sure because I don't recognize color really well. My color is a bit off because I have a slight color deficiency, nothing serious, but enough for me to not recognize color like most people. But it's all good. I'm used to it by now. You just have to get used to it, don't you? Besides, I've always been that way since I was a kid, so I wouldn't know how actual colors look like. Besides, again, it's not that bad. It's not like I cannot see. It's not like I can't tell red and green in the traffic light. My color's just not the same as most people. That's it. Oh, it sticks quite well. I'm kind of excited to brush that on top. Should I do it like this, and then like this? Should I do it like this instead? I'm not sure. For some reason I'm trying to save these tea bags. That's not the point. I should use up all of them, right? There you go. This is another method, another method inspired by treasure books. I know I mentioned treasure books a lot, but I watch so many of her videos. So many, too many. This is not exactly what she did in her video. She used just the tea bags, I think. Tea bags and then combined with kitchen towel. But for me, I wanna try bonding it to my sheet music, to my old copy of sheet music. Oh, I'm really interested to see the edges like this one. If you watch my last video, you know how much I love those extra edges like these. Huh, I haven't used this one yet. I should have mixed it, right? I don't know, let's try mixing it. Maybe I can include this in the other one later on, because I only have 3 left. I might as well finish all of it, right? But I don't want to make it too thick. Oh, for some reason there's one here. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Oh, should I do this instead? Or this? I kind of want it to cover, that's why. Right now it's not. Oh, I know. Let's see. I think I can just pull it up a bit. Like that. Okay. Right, that way I can cover everything else with this one up here. Time to add this one. I'm gonna start with the ones that overlap first. Now that I've experimented with this, I know how many tea bags to save. How many tea bags to save for one paper. Okay, I think I've brushed all of the overlaps. Now I'm gonna go ahead and brush the rest of it, and then I'm gonna do the edges. I can't believe I've been filming for an hour. Like, it has been an hour. Did I make that many mistakes in the beginning that it took long for me to actually start this video? I am still not used to it. I thought I'd do better for this one compared to my last video. I thought I'd speak more confidently, with clarity, but I think I still can't shake that feeling of self-conscious. Just to be safe, I'm adding another layer on the overlaps because I really want them to bond together. Okay. As usual, I'm going to remove this from the table and dry it outside. Right, next one, which is also the last one that I'm filming today. So for this one, I'm going to try using this. But first, glue and water first. Yay, we can finally use this one. Slowly. I don't want this to rip off too. The fine threads that forms this gauze, it's easily pulled out, so I have to be very, very careful. Okay, I cannot cover everything, but nothing's perfect. Got it. Alright, I forgot. I wanted to add this one. Where can I add this? I think it's best to add it underneath, right? Not sure exactly where, but because I only have 2 left, so it is gonna look a bit odd, unlike the other one. I could keep it actually, right, for another project as I collect more used tea bags every day, but I'm not gonna do that. There you go. Maybe I'll start with this first and then I'll layer the other one. Ooh, okay. Because this one moves, it's going to be a bit tricky to brush. I think I have to brush slower for this one. I'm trying to put as many of these. That way it sticks perfectly with the paper. I think it's time for the next layer. Okay. Yay, I think I'm done. Wait, maybe I should add more glue over here. Okay. Now I'm done. I'm gonna dry this first and then I'll get back to you when all of the papers are dry. Right, they're dry now. It took about 3 hours this time, way better than last week because there's actually sun this week and the temperature is warmer, so it dries pretty quickly, except for this one though. I'm not sure why, probably because there are multi-layers in the middle, so I think that's why this paper in particular wasn't completely dry after 3 hours yesterday. This part in the middle didn't dry because of the extra layers in between. Plus, I shouldn't have done that, but I did. The triple layer in the middle, because there's a gauze swab and then the tea bag and then another gauze swab. That's why it took longer to dry. So for this paper, I actually had to iron it using the same method that I mentioned in my last video. Unfortunately, they're not fully bonded to the paper. I don't think the camera is able to capture this. Yeah, even if I put it this way, I don't think you can still see it. But other than that, the rest of them bonded really well, especially with the single layers, like over here. That one, they bonded really well, and it gives a really nice texture too. Over there, I can't use this page to write unless if I stick something on it, but my plan is to add some embellishment on it. That's why. And I want it to be like a cover of a signature in a junk journal. So these kind of papers or these kind of surface are the ones that's gonna break down the segments in a junk journal that I'm planning to build in the future, hopefully soon enough. Good thing the edges, I made sure the edges had sufficient glue, so I put a lot of glue and water over here yesterday, all of the edges, so they stick really well. They bonded really well with the paper. So all in all, that is good enough for me. I'm happy with it. Now I know if I were to make another junk journal page in the future with gauze swabs or any material that is similar with this, I would know that I have to use just one layer, and if there's any excess paper down here, I have to cut the gauze swab. That way it will be evenly dried with the glue and water. I told you yesterday that the fine threads from the gauze swab, it's easy to pull them out, but with sufficient glue and water, now I can't pull them out anymore. And this is the one that I used, the green watercolor from Canva, which of course after putting lots of glue and water, it actually seeped through, as you can see, and that's exactly what I want. Next, this is the one that I use, Teabags. Most of these are Earl Grey tea bags, except for this one because I didn't have enough Earl Grey tea bags, so I had to put this odd one here, which is a green tea bag. I think it works still. For the most part, I'm quite happy with it. I do like the texture and the feel of it on my hand. And adding the watercolor element from Canva really helps. I added stains as well, coffee stains, and these are all brown watercolor. And of course, just like the other one and my other pages, the colors seep through after putting lots of glue and water and dry it. And I like the edges as well, because when I fold this into a junk journal, the edges will look very pretty. And I think for this one I can write on it. The surface is quite matte, so I can actually write on it, which is pretty nice. And it sticks really well too. As I've mentioned over and over again, you just need to add a lot of glue and water and it will stick, it will bond, and it will become just one single paper. And I love that. I have to say, by itself, I'm not quite impressed with it visually. But if I fold it like this, or maybe even this size, a quarter of it, it actually looks really nice. So I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so after I made the 2 pages that I showed you, I actually made these 2. So this one, I just finished the last 2 gauze swabs that I had, and I did the same thing. I unfolded them and then I put one layer here and another layer here without actually cutting it to fit just the excess paper down here. So same mistake as the other one, because then the middle part where it overlaps doesn't stick with the paper, but the rest sticks really well. They bonded very well, including the edges, because again I made sure that I put sufficient glue and water on the edges because I don't want them to fall apart. So I think all is well by the end of the day, because I can still use it as a journal. I'm not sure what I'm gonna put here, what sort of embellishment. This is really nice. It feels really good to touch it. Same thing, I use various watercolor stains, mostly coffee stains, and not sure, tea stains or coffee stains elements. I printed them at the back and then now it's seeped through. Weird, isn't it? Look at that. The color here is different than here. Now the last one that I did, and this one I really like it. You know this already. This is the one that I used kitchen towel, but this time instead of using a single ply just on the middle because of the size, it doesn't cover the entire page, I actually separate the ply and I put one ply here and then I tore it, I rip it just enough to cover the excess down here. So now it looks completely covered, and close up, if I show you the close up, it looks very textured too. So as I was doing this yesterday, I actually ran out of white glue with water, the mixture that I had, and I also ran out of regular white glue. I didn't have any more white glue. So I tried using this glue. This is not a regular white glue, by the way. It is so not friendly, not water-based friendly, but I think I was just desperate. So my monkey brain was just desperate to get it done. I was able to brush most of the regular white glue with water mixture on top, but it wasn't fully coated with the mixture, with the solution. So I actually added this, and now it's more diluted, but then I added a little water with this yesterday in a bowl, and it was very sticky at first. Good thing I didn't brush that mixture at the back, otherwise it would have stuck on my table. But the front one was really, really sticky at first, so I was just hoping that once it's dry, it's gonna be okay. And it did. It has a different texture than the one I use with the regular solution that I showed you earlier in the video and even in my previous videos. Because this one, yeah, it has a different texture. This one has I think because of the ingredients of this glue, I feel like this is the kind of glue that I usually use for fabric or leather, because I bought it from that store, a leather store, so I think that's why. But once it's dry, it sticks really well, and it feels really nice too. It has some extra texture, just that, yeah, it's very sticky at first, so I had to wait for it to dry. And surprisingly, it dried really fast, way faster than the 2 papers I did in the beginning. So now that I know that I can actually do that, I kind of want to try with collage. But yeah, I know you're very confused right now with what I'm talking, but I'm gonna try that in my own time, and then I'll make a short video about it, so you will have an idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is really nice actually. I didn't know that it would create such an interesting surface. Again, once it's dry. Initially, it will be very, very sticky, so, and I can only add on one side of the page at a time. Unlike the other solution, I can add on this side and this side, because that white glue is just a regular white glue that is water-based, whereas this one is clearly not. It's a very strong glue. But yeah, so this one, I don't think I have a lot of things to say about this, because you've seen other variations of this in my last 2 videos, so there's nothing much to talk about. Let's see. Same thing as a journal page, it will look very interesting. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thankfully though, this video is going to be a lot shorter for you, and it's going to be a little shorter for me to edit. So, unlike the last one. So I'm pretty excited for it. Okay, I think that's it for now.